is a presentation for anyone that wants to learn how to become their own bank and just watch, rinse, and repeat it for the agents so they can go to their clients and now they can present it. So if you want to learn more about infinite banking, it's better to get it from the guy that created it. His name is Nelson Nash. He wrote a book, Becoming Your Own Banker. If you want to get instant access, go on YouTube, type his name in, Nelson Nash, infinite banking, and just get it from him. Because you're not going to go to a foot doctor if you got some heart problems, are you? So why listen to the Waka Flockas of the world on YouTube? Just go ahead, learn from him. He created it. Now, understand, infinite banking is not a product. There is no IBC product. And it's not an investment because an investment classifies risk. There's absolutely zero risk in this type of program. It's just a process where we are using something called a dividend-paying whole life insurance policy. But it's not your traditional whole life like Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman talk about. This is a specially designed whole life policy. And in order to call it infinite banking, it must meet three main criteria. One, it must be issued from a mutual-owned insurance company, not a stock company that answers to shareholders for profit. Two, it needs to be issued from a mutual carrier that's been around over 100 plus years. And three, it has to never once miss a dividend, ever. Through any recession you can think of, World War I, II, COVID, 9/11, 08, it doesn't matter. You are getting paid a dividend every single year. How would you like to get paid every year from your bank account when you opened it up when you were 18 years old? That's what we're talking about. Never missing a credit. Now, if you don't know what a dividend is, when you pay premium to a mutual carrier, you now become an owner of that company, meaning you participate in the profit shares in the form of a dividend. Even though a dividend by definition of the IRS or Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey is just a return of my own money, I don't care. If the IRS says it's tax-free, just pay me. The difference with stock companies is they answer to shareholders for profit. So while we all get the ups and the downs in our 401ks, 403, TSP, brokerage accounts, who still gets their fat bonus checks? The CEOs, the board members. So I'm not giving them any more of my money. My money goes to a company that I own a piece of. Yeah. Now, everyone's seen these famous people before: Walt Disney, Ray Kroc, McDonald's, presidents, Rockefellers of the day. Now, when these people for hundreds of years were trying to get loans out during recessions to go build Walt Disney or Disneyland, they had large sums of cash value. So if y'all don't know what cash value means, is in a permanent life insurance policy, there is something called cash value, like a savings account sitting at Bank of America or a money market account, where you pay a premium and a portion of it goes towards the cost of insurance, but a lot of it goes towards what we call that savings bucket. Well, at that time, Walt Disney borrowed money from his whole life policy to go ahead and create Disneyland. Ray Kroc and McDonald's did the same thing with their employees, where he couldn't even pay salary and the banks weren't loaning money. Well, he had large chunks of cash sitting in that policy where he borrowed it out tax-free to go pay his employees, and that's how we have McDonald's today. The Rockefellers, everyone knows about the Rockefellers. Well, they have what's called a Rockefeller Trust. When a baby pops out of the womb, what kind of policy do you think they get in their generation? You guessed it, whole life. Now, if you don't know, what we're trying to do is really emulate the top banks out there, not the ones that are falling today, the ones that are really the four major, let's just say that. Now, if you've never heard of something called BOLI, bank-owned life insurance, from today or last week, there's also something called COLI, corporate-owned life insurance. See, a bank can't just own life insurance. They need a body to insure. So now the banks go ahead and put life insurance on their vice presidents or their high-level executives, where the bank goes ahead and pays the premium. And as the bank's paying those premiums, the banks are smart because they know how these policies are really designed. Well, they can pay premium, but extra cash on top of that up to the threshold that the IRS allows them to borrow money tax-free from their policies to go buy every big building in every major city and charge people rent. And then when that VP passes on, guess what? The bank reclaims all that money on the balance sheet tax-free. I'm pretty sure they give something to the spouse or the child, but you know the majority of it goes right back to the bank. And this is all public knowledge. You can go ahead on FDIC.gov. You will find that these banks hold anywhere between 13 to 37% of their money inside of these whole life cash value policies. Now, I didn't say universal life or variable universal life or indexed universal life, IUL. They don't buy those policies because in order for them to get what they call a tier 1 capital rating from the Fed, they have to have a certain set of money set aside and guarantees on reserve. And the only places they get those guarantees are in whole life. So banks buy whole life. They don't buy universal, whole life. Now that's where banks put money. How do banks make money? I think we all know. We work so hard, we give the banks our money. The banks go ahead and they lend it. Maybe somebody wants to buy a house or a car or remodel or pay off some credit card debts like I did. Well, now they make the spread. So that's why the banks are making anywhere between 500 to 1,300% on the sweat, backbone labor of what we do. We do everything. They give us nothing, and they make all the profit. So now it's time to turn the tables where we can get our own policies just like they do on their vice presidents. Well, we can pay premiums and we can add some extra cash on top of it, like a supercharged savings or emergency fund. And now we want to go ahead and buy a house or a car or remodel or pay off credit card debts like I did. Well, now we can go ahead and borrow the money and do all those things. And now we get that spread for our family. Now, does that make sense so far? Right? Now, that's the banking side of things. Now, let's talk 101, because now we're going to talk personal, because you and I are one of two different people. You might be the financer. We go down to the dealership, you go drive your car for the next 5 or 6 years. And when you keep paying them, who do you pay? The dealership, the bank? And now at the end of those 5 years, you might have 50, 60, 70,000 miles on your car, missed that nice leather smell coming in, got those crumbs screwing up your ass. You just can't take it anymore. You just got to get another car. Or you're the saver. Now, if you're the saver like me, like my father, he taught me to save my money. And as I save my money, then when I have it, I'm ready to go pay for that car with cash. And the reason why people pay cash is because why? They don't want a payment. That's what they keep telling me. But see, my dad was wrong. You do have a payment. It may not be back to a dealership or a bank, but don't I have to replenish the money I just spent in cash? How long is it going to take me to recover $30,000, $40,000? 2 years, 5 years, 6? I don't know. But you lose in the financial world what they call opportunity cost. You're losing the opportunity that your money could have been earning somewhere else at the same time. So you're either going to keep saving your money and spending it, borrow from other people, give it back and get nothing in return. Or maybe we can finally learn, teach, and educate people what the wealthy people, banks, corporations, and business owners have been doing for hundreds of years. They know how these policies are designed, where they can pay premium and load up some extra cash at the same time. This money will grow, and the key word is uninterrupted. Your money is not getting interrupted. You are going to let that thing compound on the dividends forever because these companies have never missed a dividend. But the best part is you can borrow money from your policy at the same time you are now earning a dividend. And some carriers, like the ones we work with, they don't recognize loans. So now you're borrowing money and earning at the same time on all the money you borrowed out. How would you like to earn while you borrow? That's how you become a bank. Now let's make believe you drive a car, got a car for $35,000 at 6% if you're lucky to get that in this environment today. There's your payment. At the end of 5 years, that car is going to cost you an extra $5,600 extra bucks. Now you have a depreciating asset, nothing returned. You might have to get another car. Or maybe we just show you how to properly design a whole life policy where you can go ahead and throw $50,000 right into a policy that we designed. And then in a few weeks, we can borrow $35,000 right back out tax-free. We can teach you that. But for argument's sake, let's just show you this. Let's just say I have a 30-year-old. Now, it could be 40, 50, 60. The age is irrelevant. Doesn't make a difference. This person takes $10,000 away from Bank of America, and all they do is reposition it into the new private bank, their new bank. Now, they go ahead and pay $500 a month, about $6,000 a year. And over the course of the next 5 years, that money is going to compound and grow uninterrupted. And in that column I mentioned before about cash value, just make believe it's a new savings account, like sitting at Bank of America. Now, in the 5th year, she's got $37,000. That money has compounding grew to, and she's ready to start getting that car. Now, remember, she's not going to borrow $35,000 from her policy, from her cash, and she's not going to withdraw money from her cash. She's simply going to go ahead and call the insurance company and ask them to send $35,000 as a loan from their pocket, as if she's calling Bank of America herself and borrowing a loan for $35,000 from them. The same way. Now, she understands she's going to pay an interest rate, but we just want to understand the concept. So understand, we're borrowing the insurance company's money, not ours. We're paying them back the interest and payment, not with our cash. Our cash is sitting locked in a vault, never to go down, never to be touched, and only to go up and appreciate on all the dividends we're going to get. So if we understand that, let's go back for a minute. Because remember, if I finance the car, I was going to have to spend $676 a month to the dealership or the bank to give them the money. And if I used my own cash, well, now I got to replenish it. So the $676 a month, I got to pay it back to my savings account for my next car. Now we can teach people to do this instead. Take the same $676 and now pay it every month to the insurance company for lending us their money. And at the end of those 5 years, that loan is completely repaid back to the insurance company. But inside her policy, she was earning those dividends, and now she made a $4,000 profit inside of her policy from borrowing OPM, other people's money. And that's how you become a bank. Now, we can do tax-free lifetime income with these programs, just like any universal policy you may have seen in the past, right? And also, everyone forgets what happened in 2009 when Time Magazine did an article about 401ks. But 401ks weren't meant for us. Not a big believer in them. I don't believe in something where you got to put money into, the government locks you down to their shackles, because if you want to take money out for an emergency prior to age 59 and a half, you're going to pay a 10% penalty plus ordinary income tax. And every 2 weeks, you keep giving your money away. Guess what? Wall Street gets to play it. So Wall Street gets to play, government locks you in, and you still think you're getting your free money because they match 3, 4, 5%, which sounds good. But what happened in 9/11? What happened in 2008 when the real estate market crashed? What happened in COVID? Where's your free money when you're losing money, right? My philosophy is I'd rather take that money, keep your match, and I'll put it into an asset that I own, I control, and I know my money will never get interrupted ever again for the next 20, 30, 40 years of my life. And I get to use it right now without any penalties, liabilities, or taxes. That's a better program than I think. Now, it all comes down to these two things. Would you rather have $1 million today or a penny that doubles every day for 30 days? And this is the true nature of compounding. See, it's not day 1 or day 2. It's really day 30, where that penny becomes 5.3 million. And in life insurance, the way we design it for infinite banking, it may not be year 1, year 2, but it may be year 5, 6, or 7, where that same $500 a month you pay in, $6,000 a year, may create $6,600 of an increase. And now that isn't 10% ROI on your money. Now, if you understand the true nature of compounding interest like Albert Einstein talked about, you will finally earn it. But if you don't, you'll just keep paying it to everybody else. And that's the true nature of infinite banking using whole life properly designed. And we can teach you how to do that. Thank you for your time.